making a meaningful contribution to society. It's quite interesting because I remember when I left school, I asked my headmaster to write me a letter of reference, and he wrote whatever he had to write, and he concluded by saying, I think that Charles can make a meaningful contribution to society, since I was now entering the adult world. But so the idea of doing something which is meaningful is ever present in my mind. And I'm really encouraged today because when the forum began, we had a situation where a lot of, people in their mid-30s, let's say, were filling the room. But I can see today we have, the average age I think is a lot younger today. And I think the key is to really look at these things and to pursue them while one is still young, and to, it's never too late if you hadn't contemplated it before. But I find it encouraging. I think young people have so much energy. And the key challenge for us is for young people to have positive areas that they can devote and channel that energy. Often when I see young people involved in crime and things which are destructive, it's often because they just haven't had the opportunity or perhaps to channel that energy, which all young people have. So once again, Paul, Femi, Folawe, I thank you for this opportunity. It's been a privilege. I hope it's been of some aid to you. My experience previously when I spoke at the Leadership and Lifestyle Forum on achieving success without having a financially privileged background was that when it came to the discussion session, I was most inspired by that. I was encouraged by the questions that were asked, the contributions that were asked. So what I'm saying is I'm looking forward to our discussion, and I thank you once again for this opportunity. Thank you very much. I wish you well.
Around all these things we've been asking, there's one thing I'd like to tell you, and it's the fact that your mind is the major player when it comes to these things, when it comes to life and everything you've come to do. Your mind is a very, very important factor to what you're able to process and accept as what you're supposed to be. Now, there are some things your mind does. Your mind doesn't read. Your mind does not sleep per se. Your mind only takes pictures and processes pictures. Your mind takes pictures, your mind processes pictures, and your mind creates pictures. There are two major things your mind does. It either replays the past or replays the future. Think about it. There are just two things your mind does. You don't particularly think about the present. Even if you're sitting here right now, you're thinking about something that has happened or something that is about to happen. Those are two major things that your mind does. And for me personally, when I was growing up, I had, at a point in my life, I had a traumatic stage I was going through. And by the time I discovered what I wanted to do, and I started to discover myself, just like Charles said, that it is a journey. I must want to tell you that if you're past 16, like a lot of us are already, I don't want you to feel like, oh, I'm past the age already. No, it is a journey. Just like Charles said, it is a journey. Either you discover it at 16, you discover it at 31, you discover it at 50, you discover it at 60. It's good for you to discover it before you die. That's the most important thing. Sorry, just discover it. That's the most important thing. You know, I always remember the story of this guy. I'm not very good with names, but I remember the guy. I've read his story, the guy who created the dynamite. I read the fact that he said he stumbled on his obituary. People thought he had died, and he stumbled on his obituary, and he read it, and he said all sort of terrible things about him. Thank God he has finally gone, the man who has done this and done that. And he said, wow, is this what people are going to remember me for? He thought of it and he said, something has to happen. The man started a foundation. He put all the money he had put into some foundation and started to raise people who had no hope and all of that. And he lived, I think at the time he discovered his obituary, he was like 50, going to 60s, I'm not sure. But he was well gone in years. Now, by the time the man was actually dying, you can